Hello everybody, it's Will. Welcome to Will Bake for Food. Today I'm going to make some challah. It'll make you challah, right? I've got this recipe from Lauren Groveman, and of course I'm putting a little bit of a Will Bake for Food twist onto everything. Here is the first step. We gotta go over to the stove. Meet me there. It was a dark and stormy night. Okay, I'll turn the light on now. What I've got here is, in a heavy bottom pot, I've got a cup of milk and a stick of butter. I got my milk to just have a little bit of steam coming off of it, and the butter is completely melted. So take it immediately off the heat, and you want it to start cooling down. We'll go back over to my baking station. We've pulled this off. Now it's time to start our yeast. We're gonna put 2 packages of active dry yeast into a half a cup of lukewarm water, and just a pinch of sugar to give that something to eat. Kind of mix it in so that it gets started and comes to life. Wake me up inside, wake me up inside. All right, so we got that going. Now, the next thing is putting all of our other ingredients together in the bowl. So we have a 1/3 cup of sugar that we're gonna put in here, and 2.5 teaspoons, I believe. I'll make sure I put all the ingredients in my blog and below, of salt. So what happens is the sugar is what the yeast eats as it's going along, and then the salt slows it down just a little bit. And then this is 2 tablespoons of honey. Just gonna mix this together a little bit. You can smell the yeast. The next thing we have to do is put our eggs in. So I've got 5 farm fresh eggs from our backyard here in the west side of Cincinnati, Ohio. One at a time. Here we go. Okay, so I've whisked all 5 of my eggs into my sugar, honey, and salt, right? Now, this mixture needs to go in here. It's gonna still be a little bit warm, so just pour just a little bit in here and get it going so that you warm this mixture up, cool this mixture down, and you don't cook your eggs. That's the thing you wanna make sure that you're doing, is tempering it, basically. This is raw egg, but it's essential that you do this. So you don't kill your yeast. What you gotta make sure happens is that you have this at no more than about 115 degrees, which is what this is. So I've stuck my finger in there. It feels lukewarm, so we're good to go. Now, let's pour our yeast mixture into here. It's been about 3 minutes or 4 or so, and this has started to get frothy on top. It's about half froth, half not, just like a beer would be, maybe if you poured a beer. I've never drunk that. So anyway, pour this in here, mixing it all the while, and you can smell that yeast that's come to life. It smells amazing. And now it's time to add in our flour. So we're gonna need about 6 cups of bread flour. Now, depending on how much liquid you end up with the size of your eggs and all that stuff, I've gone between 5 and 6 cups, but mostly always at least 5 cups. So, first, I'm just gonna sprinkle on top of here. Don't plop it in there because it'll splatter everywhere. 2 cups of a high protein bread flour, okay? Then, start to mix them. One of the things I like to do is turn my bowl against my spoon. So if I'm turning my spoon counterclockwise, I'm turning my bowl clockwise. Whoop. It's okay, we gotta dust the surface. So I'm going, this is my 5th. So once you've got it to where it moves and as one unit and just flips over in the bowl like this, and it's really shaggy. I don't know if you can tell that, but anyhow, it's really shaggy. Now, we're gonna flour our surface here. Just take the rest of that, pull you out another cup, because we're likely going to need the whole thing, and pour it right on the surface. One clean hand, one dirty hand. So this is my clean hand. taking that underneath, folding it back over, right? Pushing and folding, pushing and folding. Oh, still real sticky, but that's okay. This is the part of the process where we start to build up the glutens and we get a brilliantly buttery dough. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes or so, and we've got our dough about where it needs to be to put it and let it do its first rise. We have to rise it basically 3 times, but 2 major rises. So my prep for this, what I've done is used a canola oil spray and sprayed a bowl here, and the saran wrap that's supposed to go on top of it, I sprayed that too, because this will double in size, and if it touches the saran wrap, we want to make sure that it doesn't stick, right? So I'm gonna say that's pretty good. As much as you can, make a smooth mass here, kind of in a circle, and lay it in your bowl. Then here's my tip. Stick it in the oven, not on, but with the light on, because the light in the oven will make it about 75 degrees, and that's what you need for the bread to rise. This first rise takes about 1 hour and 45 minutes. So you have time to clean up your kitchen and make any kind of other dinner stuff that you need to prep for the night's meal. So here we go. All right, so I've had my first proof, and look at this beautiful inflated dough. So here's what we do. Just take the back of our hand. This is where you take out your ingressions. If you've seen mine and the Food Hussies pizza dough tutorial, this is where you take out your ingressions. So back of your hand, swat it, let it fall. Yeah. All right, so we're just going to knead it gently to redistribute the yeast a little bit. Turn your bowl as you go. Kind of fold, push, and pull, right? Kind of get it all the way turned over, and you can see this beautiful elastic dough. Okay. Looks great. You can smell that yeast. All right. So, now, put your plastic back over it, stick it back in the oven for another hour-ish, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's been about another hour, and you can see that I've got a nice, billowy, silky, elastic dough here. I'm just gonna uncover it and do the same thing, punch it down. This time it had a lot more air in there. What I've done here is I have a scale, and I'm just gonna weigh our entire dough, and it is 3 pounds, 8 ounces, so 3.5 pounds of dough. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it as much in half as I think I need to here. About there. Don't let your scale go far, because what's very important now is that we have even balls of dough. Find the smooth side and just start rolling them over each other. Okay, until you get the smooth side out here. And then make it into a little bitty ball, like so. So you see there's a seam on, it's almost like just a big egg. These are our 6-ounce pieces. And what we're gonna do is just kind of start folding them into each other, a little bit like this, and then roll it out, and then taper the ends. And what you want to see is a completely smooth dough with not much of a seam, right? So you can see the seam, but it's sticking together, so we're totally okay there, all right? Repeat that for all 5 of them. Odd numbers are way easier than even numbers, because odd numbers, it's over, under, over, under. Even numbers, it's like I have to launch a space shuttle and I don't know how to do it. So anyhow, it's really simple. For a 5 braid, I've position them to where all at the top are together, and then you just go over 1 from the outside, then under 1 from the outside. Repeat from the other way, over 1, and then under one. Tighten it all up. Then go back to the outside. You go over one and under one. Close. Over, under. One more run and you're done. Over, under, over, under. When you get to the end, just kind of pull them all together and tuck it underneath. Okay? Straighten it out. And then on the other end, just tuck them underneath just a little bit. Kind of roll it down and stick it on your parchment paper. Look how beautiful that is. This is a 5 braid. What you want to do is roll your ball like you normally did into a pretty thin rope. Put it around 2 fingers like you're tying a knot. So I put it around 3 fingers, I guess. And then I'm going to stick this up underneath it. So I have what's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. No, what's beginning to look like just a knot. Then take this end, wrap it underneath, and pull this end and wrap it over top. The dough is pretty forgiving. Just kind of mesh it all together. And see, you have all those, it's like a little roll. Step and repeat. Okay, so this dough has proofed for about 15 more minutes, and you can see how it's puffed up just a little bit to what it was just a second ago. What I've done is I brought an egg to room temperature and put a teaspoon of water in it and whisked them together. So I made like a little glaze, and I'm going to glaze this on top here. And then let it sit exposed in the room for about 5 minutes, and then stick it in my 375-degree oven for circa 25 to 35 minutes, depending on your oven. This is some challah that will make you holla. All right, so these are cooked and cooled. It took about 18 minutes for the rolls and about 27 minutes for the big loaf. Thank you so much for joining us here on We'll Bake for Food, and leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Is there a better technique for braiding for any of the stuff that you've seen? What do you think? What do you think? Let us know. And follow me on Instagram so you can see all the confections that I've been doing all the time, and as well follow me on Facebook, all that stuff. So I'll put all my links below and my blog, etc., so you can see and join us on We'll Bake for Food. Remember, I'm Will.